So you might be familiar with this recent popular quote that states that AI is going in the wrong direction. So it goes, and I quote, "I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing. Not for AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes." So I would like to ask you, who wants to swap their creativity for clean socks? You might also have heard that AI will soon take over the world, replacing humans and taking over decision-making. This sounds like a plot of a sci-fi movie, but the fear is real. This could potentially compromise responsibility and accountability for decisions that affect human lives. And as more AI is integrated into our lives, this concern grows, especially in professions such as human resources management, journalism, medicine, or law, where professionals must adhere to strict deontological standards and be responsible and accountable for their actions and decisions. However, contrary to these views and apocalyptic fears, we found that AI can be built in such a way to work with humans as part of a team. So by balancing efficiency with time for reflection, AI can leave room for professionals to critically assess its decision and apply their own judgment. So instead of fearing AI overlords, we can think of AI as a trustful, helpful sidekick, like a trusty Robin to our Batman. So how do we know this? Well, as part of my PhD research, we've been working on exploring how best to design interactions with AI to ensure professionals' accountability and oversight in deontologically governed settings. So here's what we did. We brought members from the Quebec Order of HR Professionals into the lab to work with and without an AI recommender system, and ran an experiment to see how different levels of AI explainability influence their confidence, decision ownership, trust, and willingness to rely on AI. So we asked them to screen the resume and select candidates for a job opening according to 3 recruitment criteria and under 3 scenarios. So let me walk you through these scenarios. In the first one, they worked alone. So essentially, they assessed the resume and applied the recruitment criteria without AI's recommendations or explanation. So basically, the resume were displayed and they had to assess them. In the second scenario, AI provided partial explainability. So it recommended a candidate to select and provided a total score based on the 3 recruitment criteria. However, the explanation behind the scoring process was not disclosed, thus providing partial insights into the AI's reasoning. And in the third scenario, AI offered complete explainability. So it not only recommended a candidate to select, but also explained how it came up with this recommendation by breaking down the scores of each recruitment criterion and highlighting relevant details within the resume. So as you can see on the example here, for example, the experience score is 2 out of 10 and presented in a dark blue box. And below in the resume, the section corresponding to this experience is highlighted in the same dark blue color, thus indicating how it relates to that score, and therefore providing complete insights into the AI's reasoning. And in these 2 last scenarios, so partial and complete explainability, the AI recommendations and explanations were always accurate. And while these professionals were assessing the resume and selecting candidates, we measured their brain activity, monitored their physiological responses, and observed their eye movements. So this neuroscientific approach provided us with a unique window into their cognitive and emotional responses. We also tracked how long they took to read the resume and make decisions, and asked them questions about their confidence in their decision and their trust in AI's recommendation. So what did we find? How did the absence or presence of AI with different levels of explainability influence this decision-making process? So to understand this, we broke the process into two phases. The first one, reading and assessing the resume, and the second one, candidate selection. And here's what we found from observing brain activity during the first phase. So on the right, you will see brain activity without AI, and on the left, with AI. And interestingly, we found that certain brain areas showed greater activation without AI. So as such, the occipital region, which is responsible for visual processing, showed greater activation without AI, thus indicating that without AI, they had to focus harder on identifying relevant information within the resume. They also spent more time visually examining those resumes. Furthermore, the parietal region of the brain, which is associated with cognitive control, working memory, and information processing, showed greater activation without AI, suggesting that, again, without AI, they put more mental effort into processing the information. And lastly, the frontal region of the brain, which is associated with complex thinking and decision-making, was more active, suggesting that they put more mental effort and that they were more engaged in synthesizing all the information. So overall, this indicates a greater level of intellectual effort, which led them to spend about 30% more time on this task than when AI was integrated. So what does this mean? This means that the absence of AI in the reading and assessment of the resume led to increased reflection and analysis. But interestingly, we found that the difference between partial and complete AI explainability becomes apparent when professionals select candidates, so during the second phase of the decision-making process. So as such, when professionals were provided with complete AI explainability, they expressed 7% more trust in AI's recommendation and were 5% more likely to follow these recommendations than when provided with partial AI explainability. They also reduced their decision time by 7%. So this suggests that complete AI explainability increases efficiency, but also encourages professionals to follow AI's recommendations without reconsideration. But what was really striking is that with partial AI explainability, they felt more confident in their own judgment. And this was reflected by the brain areas associated with confidence and judgment making, which showed greater activation with partial AI explainability. As such, the frontal region of the brain and the parietal region were more active with partial AI explainability. Furthermore, the centroparietal region of the brain, which is associated with critical thinking, showed greater activation, indicating that with partial AI explainability, they put more mental effort into assessing their own judgment against the AI's explanation. And this also led to higher trust in their own judgment, which we observed through their calmer physiological responses. So what does this tell us? This tells us that partial AI explainability, by balancing judgment between self and AI, can help professionals build confidence in their decision, feel more in control, and trust their judgment. And as an HR professional, doctor, lawyer, or any kind of decision maker, that's exactly what you need to make critical, informed decisions. So it's like using a GPS for direction, right? So you trust it, but you still pay attention to the road signs, making you feel more confident and in control. And this, let me tell you, especially when you live in Montreal. So in conclusion, and I'm going to leave you with this. By balancing AI's recommendation and partial explainability with room for professional judgment, we can significantly boost engagement and confidence, foster critical thinking, and ensure decision ownership. So this approach doesn't make AI a tool to be blindly followed or a threat to be feared. It makes AI a powerful partner in creating effective, responsible, and accountable human-AI collaboration in deontologically governed settings. So by working together, we can ensure AI supports strict deontological standards, ultimately benefiting both the professionals and the people they serve. So no need to swap your creativity for clean socks. It's about designing AI to enhance our work, not replace our judgment. Thank you.